Imagine a creature that looks like a sausage with teeth, lives underground in colonies just like an ant, and can run backward as fast as it can run forward. And that's a real animal. Just one of the many bizarre creatures hiding right here on planet Earth, just out of sight. From the deepest oceans to remote subterranean colonies, we're searching for Earth's most hidden and strangest animals. Today, we're counting down 10 unbelievable animals you probably didn't know existed. These creatures are so weird, you'll be asking yourself if they're from another planet. Let's get into it. Starting our list at number 10 is an animal that sounds like something from a cartoon, the fainting goat. Found mostly in the United States, these goats have a truly bizarre reaction to being startled. When they're surprised or get a little too excited, their muscles completely lock up, causing them to stiffen and tip right over. But here's the unbelievable part. They don't actually faint. They are wide awake the entire time. This strange behavior comes from a harmless genetic condition called myotonia congenita, which makes their muscles seize up with a sudden rush of adrenaline. After a few seconds, the stiffness is gone, and they hop back up like nothing ever happened. It's a wild sight, and a perfect example of how one little genetic quirk can create one of nature's weirdest spectacles. Next up, at number 9, is an animal you definitely know, but with a secret you probably don't. We all see kangaroos as powerful hoppers with built-in baby carriers, but surviving the blistering heat of the Australian outback has forced them to get creative. Kangaroos don't really sweat like we do to cool off. Instead, they've come up with a different method that's a little gross, but it works. They lick their own forearms. Their arms are covered in a dense network of blood vessels that sit right near the surface of the skin. When they coat their arms in saliva, the evaporating moisture cools the blood flowing underneath, which in turn lowers their entire body temperature. It's like a personal, built-in air conditioner, a seriously clever adaptation for surviving one of the hottest places on Earth. At number 8, we're diving into the coral reef to find the parrotfish. These fish are known for their wild colors and strong, beak-like mouths they use to chomp on coral. But their most unbelievable trick happens after the sun goes down. Before they go to sleep, some parrotfish have a bizarre bedtime routine. They secrete a clear mucus cocoon from their gills, wrapping their entire body in a slimy sleeping bag. It takes about 30 minutes to an hour to build this gooey tent. Scientists think this cocoon does a couple of things. It hides the parrotfish's scent from nighttime predators like moray eels, and it acts as a physical shield against tiny blood-sucking parasites. It's basically a high-tech alarm system made of snot, proving that even in their sleep, animals have some seriously strange survival strategies. For number 7, we're heading to the coldest place on Earth, Antarctica, to meet the Adelie penguin. They might look cute, but these penguins have a surprisingly complex and scandalous social life. In their world, the most valuable thing isn't food or shelter, it's stones. Adelie penguins build their nests out of small stones to keep their eggs off the cold, wet ground. These stones are so important that some penguins turn into thieves, snatching pebbles from their neighbors' nests. But it gets even weirder. Researchers have observed female penguins offering sex to males who aren't their partners in exchange for a high-quality stone. Some clever females will even start the courtship ritual, grab a stone and then run off without going through with it. It's a startling look at just how complex and transactional behavior in the animal kingdom can get. Swimming into our number 6 spot is a tiny fish with a huge sense of responsibility, the jawfish. These little guys, found in the warm waters of the Caribbean, dig burrows in the seafloor, but it's their parenting style that's truly unbelievable. In the jawfish world, it's dad who does all the childcare, in a behavior called paternal mouthbrooding. After the female lays her eggs, the male scoops them all up into his mouth. For a week or more, he'll carry the eggs, protecting them from predators and constantly churning them to keep them clean and full of oxygen. And during this entire time, this devoted dad can't eat. Seeing a male jawfish peeking out of his burrow with a mouthful of eggs is an incredible sight and one of the most extreme examples of fatherly duty in the ocean. Alright, we're halfway through and things are only getting weirder. From fainting goats to fathers with a mouthful of babies, nature is full of surprises. Which one has blown your mind the most so far? Drop a comment below and let us know. And if you're enjoying this dive into the wild, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Now, back to the countdown. At number 5, we have an animal that practically laughs in the face of death, the wood frog. Native to North America, these little frogs have what seems like a superpower for surviving brutal winters. When the temperature drops, the wood frog doesn't dig deep into the mud. It just finds a spot in the leaves, lets itself freeze solid, and basically becomes a frog-shaped ice cube. Its heart stops beating, it stops breathing, and up to 70% of its body water turns to ice. To anyone watching, it looks dead, but it's a trick. The frog's liver pumps its cells full of glucose, which works like a natural antifreeze, preventing ice crystals from shredding the cells from the inside. And when spring comes and the frog thaws, its heart restarts, it takes a breath, and it just hops away as if nothing happened, ready to live another life. Digging into the number 4 spot is an animal that's just as weird as its name, the naked mole rat. These wrinkly, sausage-like rodents from East Africa live their whole lives underground in huge colonies. What makes them so unbelievable is their social structure. It's nearly identical to that of bees or ants. They are one of the only eusocial mammals, meaning each colony has one queen who is the sole breeder, and the rest are sterile workers who dig, find food, and protect the colony. But that's not all. Naked mole rats can live for over 30 years, which is unheard of for a rodent, and they show an amazing resistance to cancer. Scientists are studying them closely, hoping their biology might hold secrets to longevity and fighting disease in humans. Surging into our number 3 spot is one of the ocean's smartest and most powerful predators, the orca. We all know they're intelligent, but some orcapods in Antarctica have developed a hunting strategy so brilliant and coordinated, it's practically a military operation. It's called wave washing. When these orcas spot a seal on an ice floe, they work as a team, swimming in perfect formation. They charge the ice side by side, creating a massive wave that washes over the top and knocks the seal straight into the water. It can take multiple waves from different angles, with the orcas communicating and strategizing between each attempt. This is a learned behavior, passed down through generations, and it's a chilling display of the raw power and incredible problem-solving skills of these apex predators. Floating into the number 2 spot is the animal once voted the world's ugliest, the blobfish. That infamous picture of a gelatinous, droopy-faced blob is what everyone thinks of, but that photo is totally misleading. In its natural habitat, thousands of feet deep off the coasts of Australia and Tasmania, the blobfish looks like, well, a fish. It lives where the water pressure is over 100 times what it is at the surface. Its body is mostly a gelatinous mass with very soft bones, an adaptation that keeps it from being crushed by the immense pressure. That sad, saggy creature we see is what happens when it suffers massive tissue damage from being dragged to the surface too quickly. It doesn't have a swim bladder for buoyancy. Instead, its jelly-like body is just slightly less dense than water, letting it float effortlessly above the seafloor, gobbling up whatever drifts into its mouth. The blobfish isn't ugly. It's just perfectly adapted to an environment we can barely even imagine. And now, our number one most unbelievable animal, a creature so horrifying it's pure nightmare fuel. Meet the Cymothoa exigua, better known as the tongue-eating louse. This parasitic isopod has a life cycle that is uniquely terrifying. As a juvenile, this crustacean swims into a fish's gills and crawls into its mouth. There, it attaches itself to the tongue and severs the blood vessels with its claws. The tongue eventually withers and falls off from lack of blood. But here's where it gets truly insane. The parasite then attaches its own body to the tongue stub and functionally becomes the new tongue. The fish can actually use the parasite just like its old tongue. The louse lives out its life inside the fish's mouth, feeding on its blood or mucus. It is the only known parasite in the world that functionally replaces an entire organ of its host, making it, without a doubt, one of the most unbelievable animals on the planet. From parasites that become new organs to frogs that literally freeze and come back to life, the natural world is stranger and more creative than we could ever imagine. These 10 animals prove that evolution's ability to innovate is truly without limits. What other unbelievable creatures are still out there waiting to be discovered? Thanks for joining us on this wild ride. If your mind is as blown as ours, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Until then, stay curious.